Hi everyone, I'm Michelle Rushing with Stampin' Butterfly. Thank you so much for joining me this Thursday evening. We have another Make It Monthly event. So each Thursday we get together, actually it's the third Thursday of the month, and we'll get together and make 3 cards. I'll share stamping techniques and tips and tricks, and we'll make 3 projects. Tonight we're going to learn how to use the stencils and the blending brushes as well as the Staz On ink. I know some people have purchased it and then just don't know what to do with it. So I thought it'd be a nice thing to share with you guys tonight. We also at Stampin' Up have DSP sale going on, so the designer series paper is still on sale, 15% off, quite a few selected styles. So if you have a chance, you can check that out. And I think we will just get started. Give me 1 minute, I'll make sure I'm in the right spot. So yes, it looks like it. All right, so let's take a look at our first card. So I will actually get my supplies together, and let's see, where is my card? So this is the card we'll be making. I think I'll change it up a little bit. Sometimes it's fun to swap out some of the paper, give you a little bit different look. So we'll be using some Staz On ink to stamp the shimmer vellum flower. I don't know if you can tell, but that's on the polished pink shimmer vellum, and you'll see how nice the Staz On works for that. So this is card 1 we'll be working on, and the stamp set we are using is Flowers of Friendship. This one's a lot of fun. You can use your blends to color it, your markers, your regular markers. You can use your watercolor pencils, and the fonts are great, and it gives you lots of things in there. So that's the stamp set. And let's see. Oh, the tag that we're using on the front is one of the die cuts that actually has no coordinating stamp. So in this catalog, Stampin' Up has a few die cut groups, or I guess like bundles. Well, I guess they're not bundles. So they have some die cuts, and each one is its own, so it doesn't have coordinating stamps. So make sure you look into the die cut section. So this one you may not have noticed it because it's only in the dies section of the catalog. It doesn't have a matching stamp set, but I'm going to get a ton of use out of it. So one card tonight is going to use this one, and the card we're using now, we're going to use these rounded ones. And they also have these little tabs at the top that you can die cut out and then put over the hole. So it looks really cute. But loving this, and I'm going to use it a lot for Christmas as well to make tags. So it's great for birthday tags, Christmas tags. And sometimes you miss out. There's a couple of things in the back like that. There's some layering diorama, and I think there's a flowering background. There's a couple things actually in there that don't have coordinating items. So make sure you check out the back of the catalog. All right, I'm going to pull out some of our supplies. And our color scheme, I love pink and black. So we are using polished pink and black. So that is our color scheme for this card. We're going to use polished pink on our next card as well. So let's move this out of the way. All right, I think we have all our supplies out. So you'll see I store my Staz On ink in a Ziploc bag. It's because it doesn't have a great locking lid. It just slides on. So to keep it from drying out, I keep it in a Ziploc bag when I'm not using it. All right, where do we want to start? Oh, we are actually going to die cut. I forgot I didn't die cut that. So we'll go ahead and do our die cutting first. I can show you how easy it is to use that. So let's get out the mini machine. We should be able to use that. Hi, Becky. I'm so glad you can join me tonight. All the way from Pennsylvania. Awesome. It's great to have you. All right, let's see. So we are going to use the mini machine to cut our labels. And feel free, I will try to keep up with comments, but feel free to post any questions, or if you need to see something closer, let me know, and I'd be happy to go over it. Alrighty, so we are going to use the mini machine. So the tags do work in here, which is great, and every machine's a little different. So when you're looking at your sandwich to make, you want to make sure they kind of explain it on here. So we're using die cutting, so we use tab 1 and tab 2. And in between your sandwich, so when you're making a sandwich, you usually have a clear plate, your product, and then your clear plate. So we'll go ahead. I'm going to stand up. It's probably easier to wheel this thing around. So when you put in a larger die like this, it's always better to do it a little bit at an angle when you're going through with the rollers. And then when with this mini machine, you want to kind of stagger your plates a little bit. You'll see I'm not lining them straight up on the end. It feeds through the machine a little better because you remember it's a smaller machine, so it takes a little more wheeling to get through than the bigger machines. So we'll just wheel it through. Move it out of the way. And we have our little tag. So now we are good to go. Now I think we have everything we need to do our stamping. Well, let's see. We'll put this back in place a little bit. Hi, Hannah from Wyoming. Wow, we're covering the U.S. and I'm actually in Florida, where it's a tad warm, although I think this week it's been cooler here than up north. So I think you guys are getting the brunt of the heat. So let's take a quick look at our card. So we're going to go ahead and stamp our tag. And then we're going to also stamp our vellum. So the shimmer vellum, you can see I've used it a bit. I just cut some squares out or some strips. It's easier to work with. And there's two sides. So there's like a dull side and then there's the shiny side. So anytime you're stamping on a shiny surface, the Staz On is a better option of ink. So we'll go ahead and do those. And then we'll stamp the sentiment. So. Now you'll also notice this Staz On smells like almonds. It's almost like marzipan. So it has a different smell to that ink. So it's different than your regular Memento black. The other thing you want to think about is you can see when I'm going to punch out my image that the flower is in this direction for the large one. So I'm going to try to stamp it in that direction. It just makes it easier when you're trying to punch things out. So we're going to ink it up. And this ink pad is hard. So you can push hard on it. It's a felt pad. It's not like our juicy colored ink pads. And again, we want to stamp it this way. And we'll just stamp down and be careful because it's a glossy paper. It might slide a little. This one was actually a little sticky, so it was okay. So we'll go ahead and stamp the next flower. Now this one is kind of at a crisscross pattern. So I'm going to try to stamp that direction. And I may need a Post-it note to help me because this is a little small, this piece of paper. All right, there's our other flower. So I'm gonna, well, let's just do all our stamping and then I can move away the ink pad. Where is, so our sentiment says, life is better with friends like you. Love sending cards to my friends. So we want to ink it up. And anytime you're not sure if you have enough ink, it's always good to flip your stamp over and you can kind of look at it at an angle. And you can see the shiny ink. The Staz On's easy to see because it's so dark. But you can kind of see that you have good coverage. And then I am going to try to stamp it straight. No guarantees though, but we'll do our best. It's a little crooked. I always seem to do it on that one. I don't know why. All right, so we can close up the black now. And it has like an extra lid in there, so we'll set that aside. When we tilt it, I think that's why I like it at an angle too. You can't tell that I stamped slightly crooked, so we'll put that aside. All right, now we're going to want to punch out our flowers. So you're going to slide it in. And I always like punching upside down so you can kind of see your image in there. And it's a little hard without sticking my head in the camera, so go ahead and do that. Shake out our extra pieces. I think there's one more guy in there. And then this guy, we're going to slide in. And you can see using Staz On, the ink dries really fast. So that's the plus. If you were using regular Memento, it would be still wet and you'd end up sliding black ink all over everything. So we're going to use a little Post-it note trick to extend our paper. So we're going to use that as like a little handle. Well, maybe I'll stick it on this side. Let's see which way it wants to cooperate tonight. All right, that looks better. So we will go ahead, punch out. There we go. We'll set that aside. And then you can throw out your Post-it note or you can save it. Put some stuff over there. So now we have our two flowers. And, oh good, I did bring my glue dots. I was thinking I forgot something. All right, so you can stick these flowers separately because they're pretty, and I just happen to layer them up. So that's what we're going to do on this one as well. So let's start assembling our card. I think we have one more little stamping to do. So we're going to fold. This is just a standard card base. which is 5.5 by 8.5. We use our bone folder to kind of crease it so you get a nicer crease to it. Now with black, I always put an inside panel because obviously unless you have a white pen, you can't really write in there very well. So we will continue on with the white piece. And if we look inside of this guy, I went ahead and I used some of this patterned paper, and then I just used a blending brush to color it with some of the pink ink. But I think we'll just go ahead and do a little row of flowers. Maybe we'll do it at the bottom of this card. So we're going to use polished pink, and we're just going to stamp it across the bottom. We could also stamp it at the top if we wanted. That might be slightly crooked. And then see how I've got a little halo. So if you get ink on the edge of your stamp and you rock it slightly with these bigger ones, you'll get that. But you can cover it up with a rhinestone or a sticker, so not to worry with that. I'm just cleaning my stamp real quick. Alrighty, so let's close up the ink. And stay tuned till the end. I'm going to use our new penguin stamp set, and he's so cute. I've been messing around with birthday. I haven't really done, might need some more glue. I haven't really done any Christmas cards with it yet, but it's cute because it has holiday as well as birthday. I always like when you've got versatile stamp sets. So you'll see some samples I've been making with that, as well as the card, the third card we're making tonight. So there's our inside panel. Now we could have also flipped it over and done the other side of the card if we wanted, and to see if we get a better image for that. Then we're going to go ahead and glue our pieces together. Yeah, I think we're going to have to open a new glue. Let's go ahead and do that. I have another Tombow in here. I had a feeling that one was running a little low. So now this one will probably be crazy. Although I'm not in Wyoming at the high altitude, so it shouldn't come gushing out like usual when I get the, when I used to live there and all my shipments came, my glue would always come exploding out the first time I used it. All right. Florida's below sea level, I think, so I don't have that issue nearly as much. So as you can tell, I picked a little bit different patterned paper. So the paper I'm using in here is one of the host packs that's in the back of the catalog. So when you host a party or your purchases are over $150, it's one of the items you can select, and I can show you that later in the catalog. But I just love black and white. So the whole pack of paper has crazy colored patterns, and then the flip side is all black and white patterns. So we will put together our card now. Like I said, sometimes it's fun to just swap out the card paper and see how it looks. So we can assemble our flowers now. And I like to use glue dots, especially with the vellum, it's see-through. So I usually try to put the item on the glue dot and peel it up. And then you could also use your bone folder if you want to get a little curve to your flower petals. Could do this, do it on this guy. So it gives you a little more. Now when you mail it, it might get a little flat, but it gives a little more curve to it. And then you could also put in a dimensional between them if you wanted on the layers to give it more pop. And I think I might have done that on the original flower. Actually, let's use a glue dot on this guy. So put a glue dot on there, and then we're going to use some, not glue dots, sorry about that, dimensionals. I do like my dimensionals. So they are great for popping things up on your card to give you height. You don't want to go too crazy with the height because then the postman likes to charge you a lot of extra postage. So depending on your postman, you might not want to put like layers of layers with your dimensionals. So we just peel the backings off, and we'll do it at an angle again. Now we can put our flower down at the corner. And this time I tied a bow, so I have the in color ribbon. So polished pink is one of our new in colors. So there's a whole set of ribbon in each of the colors. So I'm going to use a glue dot again and just put it on the hole there. So it gives us a little bit different style. We'll trim the tabs off a little bit. Alrighty. So now we have both our cards done. We can add a little embellishment on this flower like I did here. I didn't have, actually I do have some polished pink embellishments, but I thought it would be fun to color up my own. So I have these elegant faceted gems, and the lighter pink, I think it's petal pink, I don't love as much. So I started coloring it. So you can color the gems with your blends and make them any color you want. So we can make it polished pink and then just use our tool to pull it off and put it in the center. So now we have a matching color. So you can use any of your gems. So if you run out and you're like, oh no, I don't have the right color. If you have the alcohol marker, you can color it up and then you will be good to go. So one thing I did want to show you with these with the Staz On, you can see that the ink really sticks to your stamps, and they're a little bit challenging to get clean. There's a special cleaner that they sell. Actually, I'm going to need that ink pad for the next one. So there's a special cleaner. Let me move the cards out of the way. I guess you'll have to tell me which one you like better. Do you like it with the bow or the little knot? And then which paper do you like better? So we'll go ahead and move these out of the way. And I'll show you. So we have this Staz On cleaner, and it's different than our regular spritzer cleaner. So the way you use it is it's better when the ink is wet. So if you do it afterwards, like right after you use it, you just dab it, you rub it on the ink pad, or on your stamp actually, and you just tap it with your paper towel, and it gets a lot of the ink off. And you can even stamp it down like that too. So that's like your first pass. It kind of gets it all, and it's a hard cleaner, so they don't always recommend using Staz On photopolymer. I've seen mixed reviews on if you should use it with your photopolymer stamps, but if you do, make sure you clean those right away. Oh, you like the knot? I like the knot too, plus I'm not a great bow tire, so knots are always my favorite to do, especially on camera. Tying a bow is never friendly. Okay, so that gives us our first stab at cleaning it, and then I recommend you can use, well, my chamois is a little worn out, so you can clean it on here to get a little more off. But again, you can see the water really doesn't do much for you. So I will show you the next way to clean it. So once you use your Staz On cleaner, most of it's cleaned, and I could have done a second pass at the Staz On marker, but the next stamp I like to do to clean them is to use my stamping cleaner. Now this is the regular cleaner you use to clean your stamps, and because you use such a harsh chemical, you can either rinse them in water or you can use this, and this will help get them clean. And again, once you do this, this will help get off the Staz On cleaner residue so it doesn't ruin your stamps. Just leave it sitting on there too long. So as you can see, that looks way better, and it gives it a little shine. So anytime I'm done with my stamps for a bit, I'll clean them with the Stampin' Up! Cleaner, because it's a nice polishing, cleaner for your stamps, so they last longer. All right, so that is Staz On, and our card. Let's move some of my messiness out of the way. We'll move on to our second card. I guess pink and purple are my favorite colors, because you can see the next card. We'll be using pink again. So we're going to keep that ink out. And let me give you a quick look at the card. So this card, we are going to use the blending brushes and a stencil. And then the sentiment is actually from one of the many messages. We have that one big stamp that you stamp at one time and it die cuts everything. So that's what we used on that one. And we're going to swap out the sentiment for something else from that same stamp set. And if you guys aren't sure how to use it, let me know. I can pull out the Stamparatus and show you guys how to use that stamp set as well. So let's set that over here so you can see it. And we'll pull out our card pieces. So the base is Highland Heather, and we're just using a standard 5 1/4 by 4 as our white card piece. And then the 3 colors we're going to use are Highland Heather, Coastal Cabana, and Polished Pink. So those are the colors we're going to blend with. Let's see. I think we are good with that. And the tag is with that same stamp, the same die set, except we're using one of the squared off tops for this one. And we're going to use You Did It. It's from that same stamp set. So we'll set those aside and we'll do some blending. So I like to start off with rolling a piece of paper, and this is blue painter's tape, and I like to get some of the sticky off so it doesn't tear up your stuff too bad. Kind of fold it and then place it on your work paper. And then we're going to put the stencil and just kind of line it up for wherever we think we want the pattern to go. And putting the tape on the bottom of the paper keeps the paper from moving, so you don't have to use two hands, one to hold it down and one to move around. And then we're going to use our blending brushes. I reuse them for ink, so I have mine labeled. One's purple, one's red, and one's blue. So those are the ones I'll use for these family colors. And then we want to just look and decide, you know, which sections do we want to color in which colors. So let's see, do we want to do it the same? I'll probably keep it similar, so maybe we'll start with Coastal Cabana. The other thing to note is they come in this little pack, so there's lots of fun stuff in here. So there's two different packs of stencils we have. This one is Plenty of Patterns. It's the new one that just came out in this catalog. And I'll give you a quick look. So there's some mermaid. So there's some mermaid paper in that same black and white pack from the Host stamp set. And then there's also this mermaid stencil that people have been using in case you've been on Pinterest. And then there's this pretty patterns, like a mosaic. And then these little flowers, which almost match our symmetry paper that's on sale. It's very similar. So those are the other ones that are in this pack. So you get all those same stencils, and I think it's like $8 for the stencil pack, so it's not too bad. All right, there's different ways you can use your blending brushes. Some people tap it, some people rub it. I like to rub it a little. And then you want to start off your paper, because the first time you put it down, it gives you a big dark blob. So if you want a blob, then you're good. Or if you forget, then you have a blob. But it's always good to start off the paper and then roll on and start rubbing on. So we can decide how much you want to put or how little. You can add to different sections. So I'm going to start here, maybe do this triangle on this side. And I love the geometric look of this. It's just so much fun. So let's see, I think we can do this one little corner over here. And it's okay if it goes outside, because then you'll just have a little bit of a blending color with one of the others. All right, so I think that looks good. And we can always come back and add more. Oh wait, I missed that little corner up top, hang on. So that's a little dark, well, that's okay. All right, next, let's see, we'll do the purples. I like the purples on the outside edges as well, because it kind of touches the paper. Oop, that's blue, don't do that. Gotta find the purple one. So, and whoa, might need a little bit in this corner of tape. So hopefully it doesn't move too much on me. I might have had another piece and it fell off. I can use some washi tape. I always keep that handy. There we go. All right, so yes, you could use washi tape instead of painter's tape if you don't have that handy. That works as well. And you just keep rubbing and blending and get the colors in there however you like them. And my paper is sliding around a little bit, but you get the gist of how it works to use the stencils now. And you just keep rubbing in circles. So I think I'm going to leave some of that off and just do some random hot pink in those corners. So we'll close this one up and do the polished pink. All right. think we'll try to add some more. I didn't leave a lot of room for the pink at the bottom. So I think we'll just overlap a little. Give us a little different look. I think it's going to be fun though. It's a little harder. You got to remember to tap on the edge of your paper to get it started and then work over to the middle. Otherwise you'll get really dark spots. And the juicier your ink pad, the more color you'll get as well. Maybe we'll oops, almost did it. We'll overlap a little here. Maybe want a little bit more in this corner. We can steal some of the purple, make it pink. All right, I think that looks pretty cool. So now we get to see what it looks like. And they never look the same, obviously, because just like watercoloring, they always come out a little different. And there you go. I love that look. I'll have to experiment with other color combinations. It's just a fun color combination to use these guys. And then all you would do, there's not that much ink on here, but you could just rinse your stencil off in this ink under the water or wipe it with your chamois and the ink will come off. And then the blending brushes, they're new this year. I think they came out in the mini catalog. So if you don't have them yet, I think they just came back in stock. They might be low inventory again, but they are super fun. They give you a different feel than our sponges or the sponge toppers. And this is like a soft, soft bristle. So you can't really tell in the camera, but it's a bristle. And you can rinse them. So it'll stain it a little bit, but if you want to just rinse them at night and use them a different color the next day, you could. I just figured I did one per family color. All right, so let's put our card together. Get my bone folder, should just left it out here. And this one I didn't go ahead and cut an inside panel. You'll see it's just purple, but you could do it either way. If you wanted to add a white inside panel, you could do that. Probably put a little glue down the middle. And I find I like the liquid glue a little better. I guess it's called Seal Plus now. The tape that we have is great too, but I always kind of stick things down crooked. So I like having a little bit of wiggle room with the liquid glue. It's a little more forgiving. So our colors are similar, a little bit different. And then we will go ahead and we're going to use double dimensionals on this one. So we will just, thought I tied a knot for this. I'll have to see where my ribbon went. So we'll put dimensionals on the sentiment. Now, did you guys want to see how to stamp that big many messages stamp? I could run that through real quick and show you. I just have to use the bigger die cutting machine. It doesn't go through the mini. So just let me know if you want to see that and we can do it. Let's see, where do we want to put it? I think right here we'll offset it a little. That's wild for me. I usually do everything straight up and down. Let's see if my ribbon is in here. Haha, here we go. So we will use our glue dot. And this one I tied the little knot again. You could also run your ribbon through here and do it that way. I just like the way this looks sometimes. It's kind of fun. And then these are the in color gems. These are my favorite and they've been back ordered quite a bit, but they are gorgeous and they're super shiny. They're like metallic. I don't know if you guys can tell in the camera, but I've used them up quite a bit. I need to buy more. So maybe we'll do the greenish colored on this one and put them in some of these spots. So these are all the different in colors. I like the bigger one. I think I'll stick with that. And maybe one over here. There we go. So we have our little gems on our card. Got card number 2 done. And let me do a little cleaning up of my workspace since I made such a mess. All right, so there's card number 1 and card number 2. So similar, a little different. Gives you a little different look to that. All right. And then you can see you've got pretty workspace now. It's all colored up for you. So just a quick, so this is where the sentiments came from. It's Many Happenings. I think Many Messages was the one from the last catalog. But it's great. It has lots of fun fonts and different shaped stamps. And then what the dies do, just to give you a quick look, they cut them out all at once. So Hannah, you like this card? You like the stenciling? Using those. So when you stamp it down, which let me grab the stamp real quick. I think it's this one. So I keep them on my Stamparatus plates for when I use them. But they line up. Let's see. Stars and hearts. But it's reverse. So when you stamp, there we go. Do it like this. When you stamp down, there you go. So you'll stamp it in one big shot in whatever color you want. And then when you die cut it out, you line up the hearts and the stars here. And it gives you all these different shapes. And you just run it through your machine one time. And it gives you a whole pile for different sentiments. So it's kind of fun if you had a bunch of those stenciled cards done and you can just have a pile of these and grab the sentiment you need. And then run it through. And you could also run it with a solid piece of paper and use these as little labels. And then stamp on them with other sentiments too. So very versatile. All right, last card features one of our new stamp sets in the holiday catalog, and it's called Penguin Place, and it's so cute. Oh, you like the, yeah, it does look like tie-dye. So Penguin Place has some sentiments for season's greetings, happy birthday, thanks a lot. Be cool, be chill, be merry. So it's really cute, and he's got some hats and scarves and things like that. So we're going to, well, I'll share the cards I've made with this stamp set. These are available for customers starting in August with the new holiday catalog, and then demonstrators can pre-order now. So this is the card I made that we'll be making, and it uses some of our glitter ribbon from the annual catalog, and then the black glitter paper, if you were here last year, was in the holiday catalog, and they did bring it back. I don't know if you can see. So yeah, I made the penguin glittery. And it says, to the coolest friend ever, happy birthday. And it's a little fun fold. So this is what we'll be making today. And then let me show you a couple of other cards that I was playing around with the stamp set. So this one, I was using some of the free designer paper. So there is celebration paper. This year we've got celebration with the Christmas catalog. And then I just was using some fun different colors. So I did the penguin in Misty Moonlight. This one I was messing, excuse me, let me grab a drink. So this one I used the diorama dies. Tried to make it look like a swimming pool. And then I embossed it with the, that crackle paint, I think it's called. And then I made a little tag as well. That same tag die set, I get lots of use out of it. Now the ribbon, I didn't have the Fresh Freesia ribbon. So this is the Fresh Freesia and the polished pink. So these are new in colors again that I'm using here. So what I did is I used our alcohol markers and I colored my soft succulent. So I had light green ribbon and I wanted purple. So I just used my markers. So the same way I colored that little rhinestone, you can color your ribbon and make it any color you want. And this stamp set, this stamp is actually from that same Many Happenings that I just showed you. I already had that pre-cut, so I just stuck it on the bottom of the tag. But these are actually from the Penguin stamp set. And then I don't know if you can see on here, I used the Stitch Whimsy. I always forget to use that one. It's a really cute die set, and it just leaves an imprint. So it doesn't actually die cut anything. It just embosses like little stitching in there. And there's all different sizes in that one. All right, so let's pull out our pieces, and hopefully my voice doesn't disappear. And the stamp set has a coordinating punch, which I love because I'm not a fan of fussy cutting. I will do it, but I don't prefer it. So let's see. We need a couple more stamps. A little more water. Okay. So I pre-cut our card pieces here. And this fun fold is basically your card folded in half, and then you're just scoring another little piece. And let's see, where's my measurements? It's like another 1.25 inches. And then what we'll do is we're going to glue that down to make the little flap. So I'll show you how to assemble that in a few minutes. We will stamp our sentiment. We need to stamp our inside piece. And then we need to punch our little penguin. So I find the easiest way to use these, so you have, looks like mermaid fins, but that's the inside of his body, the outside, and his little foot. And you can either punch a solid piece of cardstock or you can stamp the foot and then punch it out. So like on here, on this card, you'll see I just did solid cardstock, but on this one I stamped his little foot and then punched it out. So we can just take little scraps of cardstock, punch out his little foot, and another one. And this is Melon Mango. Where is it? Mango Melody. There we go. I don't use that color as much, but I thought it'd be fun to use that instead of just regular orange. It's kind of a yellowy orange color instead of pumpkin pie. And then if you take another skinny strip, it'll fit nicely in here. And you can punch out this piece. I'm shooting paper everywhere. And then we have one more piece of our penguin. And we need to punch out his body. So let's trim the used piece off. And see if we want to slide this one in. Yep. So then all you do is, I'm going to get one glitter foot too. You can make your paper a little narrower, so that way you're not wasting your paper, but we have one glittery foot to go with it. And the other thing that's nice about our glitter, or I think they call it glimmer paper, is it's really sparkly, but if you rub your finger, none of it comes off on your hands, so you don't have glitter all over your house. So I love that. Now the ribbon, this does shed a little bit of glitter, but nothing terrible, because I'm not a fan of like gobs of glitter all over my house, even though I do love it. All right, so we have our pieces of our little penguin. So this goes on here in case you were wondering what that weird shape was. And then we're going to assemble him. All right, so we'll stamp his little eyes. And I've already kind of put the stamps on the block, but they are photopolymer. So the two little connected together are the eyes. And, oops, I covered it up. Then you're just going to stamp it on the bumps there. And it's double duty, so I have like double stamps on some of these. While we have the black out, we may as well go ahead and stamp the sentiment on this. And this label is from the Happy Hippos. They have like 3 different label shapes in there, and I use them all the time. I don't think I've actually used the stamp set very much, but I love the dies in there. All right. And then what I did on this one is I mounted both stamps on one block because the spacing worked okay. And then that way you don't have to use 2 different blocks. If you know, if you have a large enough block, you could do it that way. All right, I think that's it for the black. And you can see this stamp's a lot lighter than that Staz On. The Memento doesn't stamp as dark, but it's much easier to clean and to use. All right, here's our mango. I think I need to re-ink it, so hopefully this stamp's decent. And put little stars on there. And do a little present on the inside. So we're inside of our piece. Move them around. There we go. Yeah, I definitely need to re-ink that guy. And then we have his little nose. I think there's fuzzy stuck to it. All right, I think we're clean. And then you just go ahead, stamp that on his face. Oh, that's cute. He comes together so fast and cute. All right, I think that's all our stamping for this card. So we'll close up all our ink so we don't put stuff where we don't want it. And then we're just gonna glue our little penguin together. So you're gluing on a glitter paper, you want to make sure you give it enough glue to stick well. But again, I like the wiggle room. So if you want to line up his head, or you could slide down his body a little bit. Liquid's good for that. And then for his little feet, I'm just going to put a dab, and you could also use glue dots too if you wanted. Stick his little feet on there. I'm going to use my sticky tool. So there's putty on the end of this and it's sticky. You can use it to pick up items like sequins and things, because sometimes my fingernails get stuck on stuff. I think we'll slide his foot down a little bit. So what do you guys think of the penguin? Isn't he so cute? Oh my gosh, he's going to be cute for Christmas. I haven't even made any Christmas cards, but the birthday ones are coming out cute in the little tags. All right, so now our penguin is done. Now we're just going to assemble our card. So first we'll glue down this little center panel right here. And fold it. And then we want to give it a second to really stick well. Then I have this little 1 inch, I think it's 1 inch. Yeah, 1 inch piece of patterned paper. Oh, and you can see some of the backgrounds of the other crazy colors. That pack of paper is just so awesome. It has tons of paper in it. Alrighty. And then we'll just glue that down on the edge. Try to center it. And again, we'll do this side as well. You'll have to let me know which is your favorite card tonight of the 3 that we are making. I know they're all so different. All right. So that seems straight. I think so. Sometimes I feel like I've got to pick up the paper to see it. We'll put a little bit on here. And then I think our other stuff. So we're going to run the card across. So it's going to be a horizontal card. And, oh, Hannah, have you seen the tie-dye background stamp set that we have? That one's really cute, too. There's like a big background stamp that has a tie-dye pattern. So we are just going to layer these up. And I actually ended up, I usually pop up my sentiments, but I'm actually going to layer this one flat because I want to have the penguin pop up more. And then mostly center this. We'll use some dimensionals. And put our little glitter penguin guy on. Put him there. And now that looks cute, but I have this cute little ribbon on here. Maybe we'll tie a knot on this one. So all I did was just wrap it around. And let's see. Can tie it on the spool, right? Yeah, I think that's, let's see. That should be enough ribbon. Just chop it. All right, now one of the little fun tips for trying to tie a bow or a knot on your card like that is you can put a glue dot where you want the center to be, and it'll help hold down the knot for you since you don't have 3 hands. And, or someone, I don't have anybody hold down my knot for me. So you can put that right in there. And then slide this over a little bit. And then this one, like I said, I think I'm just going to do it as a cute knot instead of a big bow. And there's probably a better way to do a square knot. My Boy Scouts could probably tell me that. But that's what we're going to go with. So we will do that here and here. And then you'll have to let me know what you like better. Do you like the knot or the bow on there? I think they're both cute though. And I get a little bit of glitter, but not too bad. So there's our 3rd card for tonight. Our little penguin guys. I'm so glad you guys could join me. Let's take a quick look at our cards that we've made. I hope you learned some new techniques and had some fun joining me tonight. I appreciate everybody tuning in. And these are our cards that we did. So we've done some stenciling. We learned how to clean our Staz On markers and stamp on the vellum. And then we get to play with some of the penguin and his little glitter paper. So thank you so much. Oh, Becky, thank you. I'm glad you think they're adorable. Does anybody have a favorite? I don't know. I like them all for different reasons, so I'm not sure if you guys have a favorite or not, but I'd love to know. If you are interested in ordering any of the products and you don't have a demonstrator, I'd love to have you as a customer. So I have my information at the top and my current host code. Feel free to message me if you have any questions. And I try to keep up to date on my Facebook page with things going on, and I also send out a newsletter. So if you're interested in that, I will post my video also to YouTube, and we'll share all my information in the links below that. Oh, thank you, Becky. I'm glad you like them all. I really appreciate it. I have so much fun designing cards, so I spend a lot of time designing them and playing with a lot of the supplies. My husband thinks I'm just up here playing all day long. But I really appreciate you tuning in for the whole video, and I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Thank you so much.